Good afternoon. This is Debbie Davis. It is July 18th, 2026. Okay, so I want to play this video here something that just came out regarding banking scams. Okay, because I have some personal experiences with this. So I want to touch on some things that are serious, but then there's other good things and things going on. We had a great 4th of July, and the British people are having a great time over here, and they seem to be really good people and appreciate America, unlike the Somalis and the Haitians, you know what I mean? It's just really good to see them having a good time and appreciating the culture instead of these other groups that don't seem to appreciate it, you know. People in Minnesota have talked about the Somalis, how they just don't seem to assimilate. They don't. It's like they don't want to assimilate. And same thing is going on. I had a friend in New Jersey that says there's a lot of Haitians out there that they act the same way that the Somalis are. Okay, they don't want to assimilate. There's a lot of people that do want to assimilate into our culture, like these British people. Okay, so so it's really good to see. I had a personal experience when I was deployed in 2008, just briefly with some of the British troops, because we were like, before we got to our stations where we were being sent to, I was like at Camp Liberty part of the time in Iraq, and at Camp Buka part of the time, and then there was like, I think it was a holding station or something. I met some of the British troops, and I think they were from, but I don't know exactly where they were from, but we were all just kind of at a holding station, and I had in the States here, when we were deployed, this was way back in 2008. There was there was churches that would send care packages, and it was just like, it was just really nice. It was from churches, people that just sent stuff to help out, like different toiletries, sometimes some snacks, sometimes some crafts, different. I mean, it was mostly just like basic necessities that, we didn't have to pay for them at the PX or something like that. And and so it was kind of funny because I was hanging out with some of the British troops at this like holding place before. I don't remember where it was exactly, but I was like, yeah, I just went to go pick up these packages here that they send to us from the United States, and I go, don't you guys, doesn't your country send you these type of things, these care packages? And they were like super funny, and they're like, excuse my language, but they're like, fuck no, mate. I mean, it's just, that's just some of the beautiful things that we kind of take for granted about our country, is that we had like all these beautiful churches and stuff supporting the troops that would send these care packages, and they don't have things like that, with the British troops. They didn't have things like that on their deployments. Okay, so it was the little things like that I started to notice. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool that America has these really cool little and it like literally thousands. They sent thousands of these care packages to the troops over there when we were deployed. Just little items, but it mattered, but anyway, what I wanted to touch on today was this, even though this is a great country, I mean, we do have some really serious things that we have to address, that I have personal experience with. That's why I wanted to touch on this particular thing. So there's this banking scam going around where I guess this one woman got scammed where they thought she picked up the phone, and the phone number, it looked like it was a call from Wells Fargo. Okay, this is the type of thing that I have touched on my channel. Okay, I have had these type of things happen. Okay, they can look like they're the real thing, but they're really these fusion centers. I've talked about these fusion centers. Okay, there's one in Minnesota. It's called, I've talked about it. There's there's some in Sioux Falls. They're literally called fusion centers. These centers are working with the CIA, and it's like a call center of CIA people that are pretending to be, okay, what's happening is they're pinging off the towers, and if you're a targeted person of some kind, and then it's being sent to this call center instead of the real customer service. So she said, oh my God, it sounded just like the customer service when she had this banking scam. And then I think they got her voice ID or something, and all of a sudden, like, her whole bank account was depleted. Okay. I have talked about this, and I have tried to warn people. Okay, these are the fusion centers that are run by CIA operatives. Okay, it's the one in St. Paul. I've talked about it. It's at Criminal Apprehension Center. Okay, that's not a center that's doing real investigations. That is a fusion center that's got CIA agents working there. That's why they acted so weird when I went over there, because I'm a targeted individual. I had the video footage of this when I went over there, and I was it looked to me like it was like a call center upstairs. They acted real weird when I walked in there. Oh, we do fingerprints and background checks, and I was like, oh, but you don't do actual real criminal investigations here? What do you do exactly? And they acted real weird, like I wasn't supposed to be there. Okay. This is not just anybody can walk over there and you see for themselves how weird these people act at this criminal investigation center. Okay, this is what this is a call center, and it's a legal surveillance center in St. Paul. Okay, and they are the ones doing these type of things. They're involved in it's these towers that are like 6G towers now, instead of, it was 3G years ago when the internet first came out. Now it's like up to 6G, and they can ping phone calls from these fusion centers, and instead of the place you're trying to call, or the place you think you're calling, or whatever, these fusion centers can act like the real customer service people, but it's not. Okay, these are very dangerous agencies, and I've tried to, so this directly relates to my story. I've had these type of things happen for years. Okay, I'm going to play this video.
Bank scams that are hitting people right now, and even folks that consider themselves careful are starting to get caught off guard. Today I want to walk you through what some people are experiencing so you know exactly what to look for.
Did you know there's a new banking scam? And tried to get me yesterday, but since I'm suspicious of everything, it didn't work. And I'm going to share it with you right now because you need to share it with all of your family and friends. They're getting good. So here's what happened. You know how your bank will send you those text messages for fraud alerts if you have a weird charge? Well, I got one yesterday. Here it is. Looks exactly like the one sent from my bank. So I replied no because I am not in Portland, Oregon. I'm in East Tennessee. I do wish we had a Target though. Bank calls me back, starts asking me all of the normal questions. They tell me they're going to stop the charge at Target, but there's also been several bill pays that were done yesterday and a few payments to random people. Then they wanted me to go into my online banking app, and this is when the red flags went up. They said that in order for me to stop payment on these random people, I would need to go into my pay a person portion of the online banking app and do a test run so they could verify my identity. I'm sorry, what? You want me to add you as a contact to my pay a person? Yeah, that's not happening. When I said
good for her for stopping that and pay a person type thing. Okay, because I just had this type of thing happen. Okay, I have my own business. I've talked about this before. Okay, but I have. So it's called Miracle Water. I'm the CEO of this company. I had booths at the Conscious Life Expo. But what I personally have going on right now is I have some customers that I feel are shady. I feel they're actually CIA operatives that are pretending to be customers, and they're wanting to get filters from me, and they want to send the money on Zelle. Okay, so like this woman right here, Debbie Waldberger. Okay, This is like, she was like somebody that I did business with at one time. Okay, I can't even figure out how to completely cancel and delete her as a contact. And that's the other weird thing that I'm dealing with. Okay, so because she sent me money one time, and or I sent her money, like I'm a contact type thing, vice versa, whatever way. Okay, if I can't even figure out how to delete this woman off of my Zelle account. Okay, and your Zelle account is attached to the bank account. Okay, so then I have these other customers now that are acting suspicious and trying to send money on Zelle as well. Okay, so I had this happen where she was put in as a contact, and I had a transactional thing with her, and she's a contact on my Zelle account. And then what happened is I had a real customer send money for filters, and what she did is she bypassed that, and she got that money. She got that money that a real customer sent me. Okay, so I've already dealt with some of these scams already. I did contact my bank, and I did get the money back, but this woman, so it said that the money was sent through ormewater@gmail.com. Okay, then it said something like one or more recipients received this in your contacts, received this money. Okay, so she literally like hacked into my account and changed my email to ormewater.com instead of com, and then she got the money. And then I tried to reestablish my information with Zelle, and it was like she was blocking it. Okay, I have been dealing with this type of thing for years and years and years now. I know who these women are. They're part of a witch coven out of Minnesota, and they have been after me, I think since age like 27, from what I remember. Okay, this has gone on and on and on. It's a very serious witch coven, and why do you think when I saw these things that actually say they're the covens, and there's one in Richfield, there's one in St. Paul. Okay, we're not dealing with like a little Halloween story here. We're dealing with very dangerous witches that are actually trained. They actually go to school like you see on Harry Potter movies. Okay, they actually go to school for that. They're actually, and beyond that, they're CIA operatives on top of it. Okay, how do I know this? Because I have these women in my family, and I didn't know this myself until maybe about 4 years ago. I had a lot of things happen my whole life with these women, and I stopped being invited to family things and stuff like that by them. When we would get into things at these type of things, it has nothing to do with the kids. It's the women, the older women that block me from family affairs now and stuff like that. So this has gone on for me. It's a very personal for me situation. We have to understand that, okay, I believe this goes all the way back to Hillary Clinton, and I believe because she was a witch, I believe she got tons of these witches in these networks involved in all of these CIA and many different CEO positions and different things like that. Okay, I believe it went back to the 90s. A lot of my problems with harassment and different things by them started in the 90s with when the Clintons were in. Okay, so I think we can directly relate it to that. But I'm gonna just play more of this video, and then I'm gonna explain a little bit more of some things that I feel
Absolutely
like they're
not.
involved
I told them
in.
that was never going to happen. The line went silent. I then hung up and called my bank directly and started asking them questions. They confirmed that this is a new scam, and that if I had added them and sent them even 1 penny, their systems would have been able to link to my account and drain it.
Hi, my name is Tracy, and this is my mother, Judy. We want to share a story with you about something that happened a few days before Christmas, And with the hopes that you will share this with all your loved ones, your parents, grandparents, kids out there, so you are not victims of a crime like we were. A few days before Christmas, my mom received a telephone call from Wells Fargo Bank. They spoofed the Wells Fargo number, so she has banked with Wells Fargo for 52 years. She's very familiar with their 1-800 number, and the call came in, caller ID from that 1-800 number. Answered the phone call, and Wells Fargo said the person posing as Wells Fargo said, "This is Wells Fargo Fraud Department. We want to verify if you made any of these purchases in Texas," right?
Right.
To which she hadn't made. They listed all these different thousands of dollars of purchases that she had not made. So then they went on to say, well, we need to protect your account, and in order to protect you from this fraud that's about to take place, we need to verify that it's you and do some protective measures. At that point, they started sending her the code from Wells Fargo that they wanted her to read back, and she the whole time is thinking this is the fraud department trying to help her from these charges that were about to, charges or wires?
Well, it was charges.
Charges that were about to take
Yes.
place.
Yes.
And so gave them the verification code, and to which then they were able to gain access of all of her accounts in Wells Fargo, and added themselves as wire recipients, putting her name as the nickname on the wire, so the wire would look like it was going to Judy, but it wasn't, and wired out $49,000 wires until they drained every cent that she had. And
It also reminds me of the movie called The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. Okay. So if you haven't seen that movie, please watch that movie. I loved that movie. Jason Statham he just kicked butt. He does such a good job in those type of movies. But it was a similar situation where he was a beekeeper, where he had these beehive type looking. They have them around here in North and South Dakota. It's like they're square things, and they have beehives on the inside of them, and they have beekeepers that come and attend to them, and they're on the farming lands. Okay, so that is what that is the role that he was playing in this movie, and it was on the land of this elderly woman, and she got scammed by one of these scams, and she got some kind of thing that popped up on her account saying you got a virus on your computer. Okay, and then she was supposed to call this number, and then like as soon as she logged into her computer and they got the password, they went into like every single area of her computer and cleaned her whole bank account. Okay, and so he little did she know he was like he had prior maybe Army training or Navy SEAL or whatever it was, so he found a way. She was a really sweet lady, and he found a way of tracking these people down that did this to her, and he went over there, and it was literally like a center like I'm talking about. It was literally like a call center of these people that are doing this throughout the whole to elderly people and different people throughout the whole country. You don't have to be elderly. Anybody can fall for this because it comes from a number. Somehow they're using the caller ID thing, and it can come right from the direct number that looks just like your bank. Okay, so anybody can fall for this. It doesn't have to be the elderly. Okay, so I would recommend watching that movie, The Beekeeper, and it was just a really good movie. And he, it was just like to them, these people that work for these call centers, it was all about the money. They didn't think anything about what they were doing to these people. They're cleaning their whole bank accounts, their whole savings accounts. Okay. And yeah, it's very serious. And so, okay, let me play more of
They
this.
did the 49,000 because at 50 you cannot do an online wire, 50 or more. So they did 49,000 and just multiple of them. Once this was happening, she was getting kind of that spider sense of a feeling, right? That just something didn't seem right. But again, with all intent, she thought that these people were trying to protect her from Wells Fargo. Called me, and I said, hang up with me right now, call Wells Fargo directly, call them and let them know what's going on. And so they had, as soon as I got her phone call, I drove over to her place, and what they had done also is forwarded all her cell phone calls by having her do star 72 or something, saying that they needed her to do something on her phone. This forwarded all the calls to...
Okay, so what they're doing, they forwarded the calls to the fusion centers. So this directly relates to my story. My story I've been talking about for a long time now with these fusion centers. Okay? These are illegal surveillance centers. I showed the video of how when I went over there in St. Paul, how the police were like literally circling the building when I was there, and the fire department. I'm sorry, why, if you're not involved in the fraud and the illegal surveillance, why would you care that I'm here? They were literally, the police and the fire department were literally circling the video, the building, and I took video footage of them. Like they were very upset that I was there investigating that building. It's called the Criminal Apprehension Center in St. Paul.
This other number. I imagine they do that in case Wells Fargo actually tries to call her, that it goes to that other number, but I don't believe, on looking at the call log, that Wells Fargo fraud department did try to call her while this was taking place. We have started an investigation. We have filed a police report with the Chula Vista Police Department. We have also filed something with the FBI. We know the bank and the routing number that it went to at Discover Bank. We're hoping that Wells Fargo is doing everything they can in order to get that money back, but every time we call, there's no new information. So please share this with everybody that you know. Obviously, this is not easy, for you feel foolish, but in looking at everything, I mean, they called from that number, and
no, anybody can fall for these because it's a very organized CIA operation.
From an institution that you are familiar with, always hang up and call them back. Even if they try to tell you, oh no, call me directly at this number. You call the number on the back of your card that you are familiar with directly, and usually these people will make you feel a sense of urgency, as they did, that all this money was going to get charged to her account if she didn't act quickly. And unfortunately,
yeah, they'll push you, and you'll feel like, oh my God, if I don't do it right now.
She had. And so please, again, share it with people that you know, and we hope that this will help some of you out there. Friends and family have reached out because they've been a little concerned about my posts on different social media platforms about trying to connect with FBI and police department and such. And I know I worried, some people with those posts, but we're just trying to find the right people to help us and hopefully retrieve. It was over 100,000 that was taken, that we had money set aside for my dad's care, who's on hospice. So share away.
Really quickly, and this is very, very important, if you bank with any major large bank, Chase, Wells Fargo, whatever, whoever, this message is for you. There's currently a scam going around right now with Best Buy. Best Buy is not the one who's scamming, but the scammers are calling the customers, pretending to be an agent from their bank, and saying that there was an unauthorized charge for $200 and something through bestbuy.com. And if it's not them, to call a specific number to have their accounts.
Okay, I had I had $250 just taken out of my account from Amazon. The charge was from Amazon. So of course Amazon has your bank information because a lot of people order from there. Then I had to call my bank and do a fraud thing. I didn't even order anything. It was just one time. This was maybe 2 years ago now, or maybe a year ago. Maybe a year and a half ago, I think. Yeah, it was just $250 was taken out, and it said Amazon. Okay, I didn't order anything. Okay, so if a company has your credit card from something you purchased there, I guess they have but like she said, it's probably not Best Buy. It's CIA, and what nobody understands is that it's mostly these witch covens that work for the CIA, and I have been saying it. I think I'm the only one that has been saying how much it involves these witch covens are CIA operatives, okay, and they're highly trained, okay, and they know how to work the system because of their training, okay, and they're involved. It's a network all over the country, and not only just this country. I'm sure it's worldwide. These witch covens,
taken care of. It is a scam call. Today alone, it's not even 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've had like 8 customers walk into my branch with this issue. Some of them have fallen for the scam and have lost money. It is a scam. So if you have any family members, especially senior family members, older family members, because those are the ones that they're targeting right now, let them know, send them this video. It is a scam. Make sure that you tell them not to give out any information, and when in doubt, go to their nearest branch. Chase, Wells Fargo, Truist, whoever it is, they need to go to the actual branch. Tell them not to call that customer service number that they're asking them to call, because it is not a rep from their bank. I'm telling you, the amount of people who have walked into my branch today with this issue, I cannot even count. It's just too much. And people are losing thousands of dollars to this scam.
Let me tell you about a scam so that you don't also fall for it through and have your bank accounts drained. Literally crying.
Okay, we're just like, there's one or two people talking about a couple more scams.
A Wells Fargo number saying that I had fraudulent activity on my account and that a random person was being sent money from Zelle in like big numbers that were stressful.
Okay, I already mentioned Zelle. I already mentioned how this one woman pretended to be a customer or different things like that, and then she's been added as a contact, and I literally cannot figure out how to delete her as a contact. So that's kind of freaky, and Zelle is attached to your bank account.
A year. I've never used Zelle, and so this like freaked me out, and they told me to go into my account and that I needed to secure my Zelle on my end by sending money that would go back to my account right after. And like looking back on it, I literally feel like an old person that fell for a stupid scam. Like I feel so dumb. So I did everything that they said to do, and they literally drained my bank account. And I felt like it was sketchy the whole time, but since it came from a Wells Fargo number, I trusted it. So like as this was happening, I decided to just go right to Wells Fargo, and as I was walking in the door, I like lost my shit and just was bawling to the poor ladies at the desk. And I said, like, I don't know if this is a scam or not, like, can you please help me? And I explained the situation. She took my phone and said something to the lady, like, can you verify your blah, 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 and they hung up. So at that point, I knew I was absolutely I didn't give them any of my bank information, any numbers, anything. They were just telling me that I had to like pay certain amounts through Zelle to like the fraudulent department so that then it would be reversed or something. I don't know. Again, I literally feel like an idiot falling for this. So once I was crying at the desk, they sat me with an advisor who called the real fraud department with me, and they're disputed.
Okay, there's another, this reminded me of, there was a friend of mine in Arizona when I was still living in Arizona and working at that military base there, that got scammed by a a business scam who said he was trying to get a small business loan, and this company said they were working with the Bank of Dubai. Okay, and it was kind of like what she just said, how she had to send money for the reversal or something. They kept telling him, yes, he's approved for his business loan, but he has to send a bunch of money for application fees. And literally this went on for like months until he finally figured out it was a scam. And it was a scam out of Nigeria. Turned out to be a scam out of Nigeria. There was a bunch of military people that got scammed through 2009 through like 2015, whatever. And they would say, oh, you have a family member that left you some money. You just got to log into this account type thing. Okay, those were all CIA scams. And it involves the witches. Don't forget. Okay.
All of the charges, and they'll call me within 10 days to tell me if the money will be back or not. It's literally crazy how they're able to use the same number. Like, literally, it was a Wells Fargo number, their normal 1-800 number. So, I guess just be aware. And if they say there's fraudulent Zelle charges, no, there's not.
Today was one of the roughest days I've ever had. My father, he's 67 years old. He worked as a veterinarian for 40 years, loves animals, super passionate about helping animals. My great-grandfather worked for 40 years, long hours for 40 years as a veterinarian. He was just scammed out of his life savings, just under 400 grand. I can't even believe it. He was giving me a ride down the street today, and we were just chatting. He asked how I was doing. I asked how he was doing, and he kind of hesitated a little bit. Eventually, I got him to open up, kind of tell me what was stressing him out. I could tell something was stressing him out, and he said his identity had been stolen, and that the IRS and the FBI were helping him to recover his identity and protect him from the downfalls of having your identity stolen. He continued to tell me that these scammers told him that the only way to protect his money, he had saved up a large retirement for himself. The only way to protect that money from these people, supposed people who had stolen his identity, were to liquidate all of his assets, buy gold bars, and hand these gold bars off to some people, some strangers who claim they're from the government, put it in a special account, and then once his identity has been protected, he'll get that money back. He did it. He emptied out his entire savings. 67, that's not the oldest person ever, but my father is tired. He's got some health issues. He is not fully capable of protecting himself, especially from online scams, things that test your mental. He's really no match for that. So he did it. He emptied out his entire life savings, just under 400 grand. He bought gold bars, and people came to his house, and he handed them the gold bars, his entire savings worth of gold bars. That might have been 2 days ago now, 3 days ago, and he's just telling me now, but apparently he's been in contact with these people for 3 or so weeks. I am just heartbroken for my father. We're taking steps with...
These are CIA operatives, and I had a friend in Minnesota that got contacted to be okay. So I personally don't trust any of these Bitcoin or any of these type of things either, because these are not. It's like, to me, it's not real money. So I had a friend in Minnesota that was contacted to be. He said he was to be some kind of a test person for this Bitcoin operation, and that he had to bid. He had for a couple hours a day. He had to bid on different things to see how it went, and then if he did really well, he could like triple his money. Okay, so this is how they trick you. In the end, you lose all your money. Okay, in the end, you put your money in. They trick you and they say you're. They told him he was some kind of a test person for this particular thing. I forgot how they worded it to him, and basically they said most people triple their money. Okay, so it was very. They make it look really, like something you're gonna make money on instead, but really it's a scam. And so he didn't make any money, and I think I don't really know exactly what happened. I tried to warn him. I don't know how much money he lost exactly, but I knew it was a scam.
The FBI, with local police. I want to know, has anybody else dealt with this type of scam? With an elderly parent, with anyone? This gold bars scam. Your identity has been stolen, so you need to take everything you own, liquidate it, and turn it into gold bars and give it to us, and we'll keep it safe for you and give it back to you later. Has anybody else dealt with this? Any support would definitely be appreciated, guys. Thank you so much.
So honestly, awareness is one of the best defenses that we can have, and always following your gut instinct. Make sure you follow that. If anything seems even a little bit fishy, listen to that. Call the bank directly. Don't fall for these new things that are happening, and just know that scammers are always trying to get a little bit better. Tell me in the comments if you've had a close call before. Hit subscribe if you're not already to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.
Okay, so this girl has a lot of let's see, homestead journey. Yeah, so she has a lot of interesting things that she's posting on her channel. But yeah, I just wanted to include my personal experiences there. And I know it involves these fusion center, and I know it involves these CIA operatives, these trained witches that are part of a network. Okay, so be very aware. I have to be super aware of. So be aware of Zelle, because Zelle, like I just showed you, Zelle, if you add that person as a contact and they send you money, then you're like in the system, and then that Zelle is attached to your bank account. Okay, so we have to be aware of these scams right now.